What's up, everybody? It's your boy A-Dubb, King Allen Alexander on social media. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Today, I want to discuss with you, since I've had both of these cameras, the Sony FDR-X3000 and the GoPro Hero 5 Black Edition, I want to discuss with you my thoughts after owning both cameras for about maybe like 2-3 months now. Before we talk about which camera is the best camera, we have to talk about the type of camera that these cameras are intentionally meant to be. These are action cameras. That's a class of its own. So if you're using either of these cameras as your main camera to shoot all of your video on, that's a whole nother conversation. But because these cameras are action cameras, we have to, I think it's fair, it's only right that we judge them based off of what they are. I'm gonna tell you which one I think is the best and why. All right. First off, microphone location. Which camera's microphone location is better? Okay, on the Sony FDR-X3000, let's take it out of its housing. On the Sony FDR-X3000, the microphone is located on the front of the camera, right underneath the lens. Okay, front of the camera, right underneath the lens. So you're riding your bike or you're skiing down a hill and you're shooting your footage and the camera's microphone is faced away from you. What noise is this camera going to create? What noise is this camera going to capture? It's going to be a lot of and arguably unusable audio because you're going to get nothing but wind. So, and then when you try to say something, or you might try to say something to the camera or say something to the audience or the people who might be watching, or you might say, ooh, ow, or hey, over here, or something like that. The this microphone is arguably not gonna pick up that audio that good because the only thing it's gonna be getting is a whole bunch of wind. Arguably, you know, may or may not happen. Now, on the GoPro Hero 5 Black Edition, the microphone is located at the top. This little dot right here, the microphone is located at the top of the camera. It's right next to the record button. That's where the microphone is. So when this is mounted in a chesty mount, arguably, this is actually a better location for the microphone because not only is it not going to receive the direct air or, you know, coming down a hill, the wind noise is going to hit the surface and like bounce off, and it's going to get some of that ambient noise. And if you want to say something, you can still say something and the microphone is still pointed towards you. Now, the scenario changes depending on where that camera is mounted. Like you got the camera mounted to the side of your head, you know, this might be a better microphone for that. You know what I mean? But, you know, sometimes with this action footage, the microphone might be mounted to a surfboard or it might be in waterproof housing, which neither microphone is going to come into play. Like you can both hear some type of, the water noise underneath, but does the microphone really matter in that action camera world? Maybe, maybe not, but I'm going to say that the GoPro has a better, it can pick up better ambient noise as well as your voice better when it comes to, being an action camera and capturing action footage in an action footage situation. It can probably get better ambient noise with that microphone location being at the top because the wind is not directly hitting it if you're going forward. Now, if you're flipping all the way and skydiving, it doesn't matter or whatever. But like the noise is gonna hit this way, it's gonna pick up some of it, and then if you say something, it'll be, you know, depending on what mount you're using, of course. So, okay, that's one scenario. All right, now let's talk about menus and how easy the camera is to navigate. You're in an action camera shooting situation and you want to shoot some action footage and you want to change the setting on your action camera to shoot some action footage. You want to do it real fast because everybody's about to go downhill. You want to go downhill, you want to do it real fast. All right, the Sony, this is the menu right here. The menu, like, it's kind of difficult to navigate. Like, say if you want to switch from 30 frames to 60 frames at your resolution that you're shooting at, it's kind of difficult to navigate if you're like a first time user. I'm gonna say that the GoPro's navigation system, it has a touchscreen built in that you could like just swipe across and you can change the resolutions and things like that. Really, really easy. The most beginner person can figure this out. It's really, really easy to navigate. It's touchscreen. It even has voice command on it, so you don't even have to touch the camera once it's mounted on your housing or whatever. The Sony doesn't have that. So in an action camera situation, when it comes to navigating through the menu and how easy it is and how fast you can navigate through the menu and change settings, I'm gonna go with the Hero 5 being a better action camera when it comes to that. Again, all right, thing number 3 we're gonna discuss right now is image stabilization with an action camera. I know what you're thinking. This Sony and its new optical image stabilization system is state of the art, and it really does stabilize footage way better than GoPro Hero 5's digital stabilization. But we're talking about action footage. The point is for the viewer to be able to like almost like get an experience from the footage that they're watching. Like, the better you can capture the action, the better the viewer can feel like they were there and can get that experience that you felt, that you went through. Now, if I'm, say, for example, dirt biking, or if I'm going through a muddy trail with my bike and the bicycle and the mud tires, and I'm going through embankments and boom, 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 making abrupt turns and going in ditches, and this camera is stabilizing all those rough moments, isn't that gonna take away from all the dramatic little things that I went through like this? I'm gonna say that being for an action camera, the GoPro Hero 5, and this is my opinion. Some of you guys can disagree with me. I'm gonna say the GoPro Hero 5's digital stabilization system has just enough to still hold back and still preserve some of that, oh my God, that fall looked like it hurt. You know what I mean? Whereas though this might smooth it out and you might watch the footage and be like, well, that didn't look like it hurt that much. Like, it might make this fall look smooth or something. I don't know. Too much image stabilization in an action camera is probably not that good. And I think that the GoPro Hero 5 probably has just enough without overdoing it, like probably the Sony did. Arguably, you know, this is not facts. It's just my opinions after owning both cameras for quite some time now. These aren't like the golden rules for buying an action camera. This is just stuff that I came up with. Thing number 4 to me is the value for your money. Like, which one are you getting the most value for? With the GoPro, you know, you don't get a waterproof housing. With the Sony, you do. Okay, you got to buy this waterproof housing separate for the GoPro. But the GoPro is kind of like already waterproof. It's like, I'm gonna call it water resistant because if you're going like scuba diving or something, you're gonna be a certain amount of feet. They're not guaranteeing the waterproofness or whatever. But I am going to say, and I'll tell you why. I'm gonna say that for the value, for the $399, let's say $400. For $400, you buy a $400 package, which is the package just because this is $399 and this is $399. I'm gonna say that the GoPro, once again, is the better camera for the value, because although you might not see it right now, and I didn't explain it to you, I'm gonna explain it to you right now. You're getting more with this camera for the money that you're spending. All right, what you're getting that you don't see is, say for example, you shoot some footage and you want to review the footage. You can't do it on this camera. You can't. It has like this screen right here. You can't play back footage. The GoPro, on the other hand, it has a touch screen. You could swipe across. You can look at your pictures. You can look at your video. That is 100% worth spending my $399 for, as opposed to this. Both cameras can sync up to your smartphone, and you can review the footage on a smartphone and your photos on a smartphone. You can use your smartphone as a remote, but both phones can do that. So we're not talking about that. We're talking about the cameras by themselves. In order to review your footage on the Sony FDR-X3000 and be able to like look at your footage, you have to buy a $500 and something package that comes with this like wristwatch type of thing, controller type of thing, and you can probably play back your footage on that. But like for the value for your money, for $399, GoPro is once again the winner. It's already kind of waterproof. I'm gonna say water resistant, and you can play back and view your footage on the actual camera itself. And not only that, it's also has voice recognition, so you can start and stop and play, you know, start and stop recording with your voice without even touching the camera. So it's better value for your $400 in my opinion, you know. Let's see what else I got. All right, now we're up to reason number 5. Reason number 5 is extra features. Okay, these are action cameras, all right? And I've been judging everything on being an action camera, how easy it is to use, sound quality for action camera, how fast you can navigate through menus and things like that, and functionality and value for your money and stuff like that as far as action cameras are concerned. But now let's talk about extra features. Extra features. When it comes to extra features and going above and beyond just being an action camera and having more flexibility, again, for the money, the GoPro wins. Let's talk about time lapses. Some people may or may not consider time lapses action footage, but you know, this camera in one spot capturing the sky is doing some type of action. That's arguably action footage, I don't know. But like this camera, the Sony FDR-X3000, can only shoot time lapses in photo mode. This camera can shoot time lapses in photo mode, video mode, and on top of that, you can shoot, it has an option for shooting nighttime time lapses. So you got 3 different time lapse options for this GoPro, and you only have one for the Sony. The Sony, don't try to shoot a nighttime time lapse in the Sony of the sky or the clouds or anything, because you're not going to get anything, because it doesn't have any way to control the ISO or let any more light into the camera while it's pitch dark outside. The only thing it has is EV compensation, exposure value compensation. And, you know, only thing that does, if you want me to be honest, like it'll let a little bit more light in, but digitally, the way it processes it, it just makes your footage grainy. And none of the footage is really usable if you want crispy, clear footage. But this camera right here has a feature for shooting specifically nighttime time lapses. And it also, the video time lapse feature is great for somebody who just wants to shoot a time lapse and have that time lapse video already created, as opposed to having a million different photo clips that you have to put in the editing software to patch together as a time lapse. Like, you know what I mean? I think Sony probably should have went with just a video time lapse feature as opposed to having a photo time lapse feature, because that would have, you know, bumped this up a notch, because now you kind of like have to edit all those. Well, it's not really editing, because you just import, you just click, you know, import as sequence. But anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. But it's just more difficult when it comes to creating a time lapse, and you have more options with this. That's one feature. Okay, we already discussed voice command. This has voice command. This one doesn't. This has, you can adjust the ISO. This one doesn't. Picture profiles, they both have about the same. But there's a lot of features that this camera has that this one just does not. This camera's a lot more customizable, whereas though this one just has exposure value compensation that you can turn up or down 3 notches, and that's basically about it. I'm not bashing the Sony camera at all. This is a great camera. It's a great camera. I'm just giving you my honest opinion based on being an action camera, because I see a lot of videos, and I think a lot of people, because GoPro's been around for so long, they just want to see, I don't know, maybe it's excitement about seeing GoPro being knocked off. And I'm not defending the company at all. I'm not sponsored by the company or anything like that. You can see, you can obviously tell I'm not sponsored by GoPro. But anyway, I'm just giving you my honest opinion so you can make a better decision. I honestly think that GoPro is still the reigning action camera leader when it comes to action cameras because of all these different reasons that I just said to you. And a lot of people like Sony takes out GoPro, Sony's the better camera. It's not a bad camera, it's just not the better camera in my opinion for the money. And when it comes to being an action camera, not overall camera. Now, overall, I'm still gonna say that this is a better camera, period, because it's more customizable. And when you get more advanced and past the beginner's level, you want more features in your camera. You want to be able to fiddle around and change the settings the way you like them. This camera just can't do that, you know. When you want to go from 24 frames to 30 frames, from 30 frames to shooting when you want to go for 1080 to shooting in 4K, it's like this camera is just easier. You just swipe across and it just does it. It's like effortless, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm gonna say once again, the GoPro is a better camera. Yeah, what was I talking about? Sorry, I lost my train of thought because I was just rambling just now. Alright, so I've been telling you all the reasons why I think the GoPro is a better camera for your money. But let's talk about if you just buy the cameras right out the box and press record. Right out of the box, press record in a perfect lighting situation outside in the street. I'm not gonna even front. I'm not gonna lie. This camera looks better right out of the box without adjusting settings and just put it in a memory card and just press record. Sony's got them beat. Go figure. I don't know. But something about the richness and how vivid everything looks when you capture it. Sony does win when it comes to that. Like I said, they're both great cameras, but I just wanted to make this video because I see a lot of GoPro bashing camera videos, like Sony versus GoPro, Sony wins, Sony wins, Sony wins. But to my opinion, based on being action cameras, this is a better action camera than this one. But like I said, they're both great cameras. I'm not bashing the Sony camera. It's a great camera. I love it. I own both of them. Sometimes I run with this one. Sometimes I run with this one. And it really doesn't matter when I'm which one I grab first. But when I go on vacation, I probably don't buy both of these cameras because it's really hard to choose which one to take. But I got more GoPro accessories, but this can shoot. I'm probably gonna take my GoPro just because I don't have to hook it up to my phone. I don't have the watch attachment for my Sony FDR-X3000 because I didn't buy the $500 package. So in order for me to like see what I'm doing and monitor things, I have to use the cell phone app. I don't have to do it with this. I can just pull out my camera, line it up, and I can actually use this as a point and shoot, and I can, you know what I mean? I can frame up my shot with this camera. You can't frame up your shot with this camera unless you're using the app and you're like framing it up like this with your cell phone, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, yeah, so that right there, like put yourself in that situation, and that right there is like, like when you're taking a selfie or a photo with you're like, okay, everybody, okay, hold it. You can't do that with the Sony. You can't, because there's nothing for you to look at. And even picture if you had the $500 version and you're on your watch and you're like, okay, everybody, hold it. Let me take this picture. Like, it's just more things. More things is complicated. More things to get lost. Another something to get charged. It's just a pain in the behind. The more you add to it, and it's just a way of these companies probably making more money, making another package. But value for the money, being an action camera, GoPro hands down to me is still the reigning action camera champion. Forget all these videos and everything they're saying, all these technical terms that they're using, all this fancy jargon, all these specs they're spitting out. That's fine if you know the specs and everything, but in real life scenario with the average person, it depends. Like if you just want to, like I said, straight out of the box record, that looks better. The footage looks better. But straight out of the box record, this doesn't look that bad. It's not that significant. but this is going to be easier to use, but this one is going to look better in ideal conditions. Now you're going, like when you get tired of this and you want more flexibility, you're going to end up right over here anyway, so you might as well spend the money in the right spot. But this, in my opinion, the GoPro is the better action camera, all right? And I'm even gonna say the better overall camera too, because it has more flexibility. It can do more things, and, you know, it's more customizable. And, you know, when you buy something, you want it to be able to do what you want it to do when you want it to do it. You know what I mean? You want to be able to change the settings to what you want the settings to be. You know what I mean? You shouldn't have to be limited to only what this, you know, well, you have to, you know. But anyway, you get what I'm trying to say. So, GoPro, A-Dubb Productions, still the best action camera around, reigning champion, GoPro. Just my opinion. Comment below, let me know what you think. Throw in some more points. If you think that Sony's the better camera, let me know why. You know, let me know how you can customize this more, because I don't think you can. Like, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. Maybe I'm wrong. It's just my opinion, though. I'm entitled to my opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. And we can mutually respect each other. But this video is probably going to get a lot of bashing because a lot of people love this camera. But I'm just giving my honest opinion, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Links at the bottom if you want to buy either one of these cameras. It's your boy A-Dubb, King Allen Alexander on social media. Alright, subscribe to my channel. I got some new stuff coming up real soon. More videos. I promised you guys this video, so I made it real fast. So, like, comment, subscribe, guys. A-Dubb, King Allen Alexander. I'm out. Peace.